My dad died 10 years ago. He committed suicide. That's a part of my story. It's not everything about me. By no means. But it's an event that I have clung to and identified with for 10 years. August 18th, 2012 is when we think that it happened. That he was found days later. And sometimes it feels like 10 years ago, sometimes it freaking feels like yesterday. I've done something like this every year. I've done like a reflection every year because I feel like that's me using this event for something. And, you know, in part, it's like helping with my processing of everything too, I'm sure, right? I think we all kind of look for that. Like, we look for purpose in the fucked up things that happen to us. And that's a really beautiful thing. But I don't know, it's just complex, you know? And I didn't do a video yet this year, you know, I didn't do anything because frankly, like, I didn't have it in me. I didn't have the energy in me. It's been 10 years and I am the saddest I've ever been. Like, I am grieving my father, truly grieving him for the first time in 10 years. And that blows my mind. It does. I'm gonna tell you, I've gone to therapy for the past year. I've started taking antidepressants. I've like taken actions towards my mental health in a way that was necessary and that I needed. And it's changed so much in my life, and it's been so therapeutic, literally. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is I'm aiming for in this video. I think I just want to talk. And I just want to talk about it and recognize that life is this complex thing and we're all seeking like meaning and understanding and like purpose in the good things and the bad things and everything. At least that's me. Always trying to understand, and sometimes that just takes continuous conversation and acceptance that you'll never truly like find the why in something and like understand it. So after my dad died, I remember like, again, like clinging to purpose with the experience of what happened to me. Because it happened to me, right? Like it felt like that. And I think like I wanted to like ultimately like find happiness because I wasn't happy. I kind of hid some of my mental health struggles from him because like I didn't want to show that side of myself, which is so the opposite of what I needed to do, I think, or choose to do now. And the more time's gone on and the more that life has like progressed, I've recognized that like my end goal isn't to be happy. Like, I can find moments of happiness, I can find joy, but life's still going to keep coming at you. Things are still going to happen. We're going to lose people. We eventually are going to go, right? Like, you don't. So, like, what should we be looking for? Like, what should we be seeking out? I think there's something to be said about, like, just using the things that happen, you know? You know, I'm like, right now even finding, like, I'm finding ways to fill in this space right now. Like, I feel like, oh, if I'm not talking, this is like a waste of time, but how often are we just quiet and just like sitting with the stuff that we go through and just like feeling it? I think my perspective on emotion and on the things that we experience has shifted because of all this too. Because, like, going back to what I said, like, grieving my dad for the first time, like, feeling that sadness, it hurts. But I'm grateful for it. There were years that, especially for those of you who've, like, known me for as long as all this has happened, like, I've said that I miss my dad, and I've expressed all these emotions, and while they were true, the truth is I wasn't always feeling the things that I was saying. That sadness, that like pain, that absence, like I was numb. And I built up a lot of walls of resentment, of anger, and so I wasn't feeling it. And I thought there was something wrong with me. Like I thought, man, I'm like, maybe I didn't love him as much as I say I do. You know? And maybe, maybe our relationship was just so complicated that my resentment's all I can feel. Or just nothing. It's not true. So I never thought I'd be saying that I'm grateful for the sadness, but I am. I know how much love was there, and I know that I was justified in my feelings of the anger that I've released recently towards him, the sadness, the everything in between. Like, it's all relevant, it's all justified, and none of it says anything about me. Just is. And my dad, like, my dad's just not this guy who killed himself at 53. And now that's like the only story we attach to. He's not this like alcoholic who struggled. Like, yeah, these were parts of the puzzle, but it wasn't the whole picture. My dad was a really awesome person. He could make a friend with anybody he met. He was the kind of guy that like he would meet you and he would like shake your hand and look you in the eye and introduce himself. He told great jokes, often really dirty jokes, which is where I get it from too. And he was a human who was flawed and who experienced pain, who experienced joy. You know, he experienced all facets of what it is to be human. And he was sick. And in spite of all that, I love him and will miss him for the rest of my life. And he is not a sum of his mistakes. Neither am I. Neither are any of us, you know. It just feels really important to say. And the other thing that I want to say is that grief has no timeline. And as disheartening as this may be to hear, it doesn't have an end. It's a process, continues to be a process. And that's okay. So I just encourage hold space for your grief, no matter when, where, why, like what's showing up for you. Talk about it, write about it. Spend time with the people that you lost. I know everybody has varying beliefs, but like, to me, thinking about him, had some time with my dad, you know, listening to his favorite songs. He loved Leonard Skinner. I'll play Skinner and I feel close to him. And I do that in multiple aspects. You know, I recently lost my friend Kyle, and it's fresh, but I'm already learning so much through this process of grief, right? So, given that it's National Suicide Prevention Week, I don't want to silo that to just a week, you know? Like, we all experience pain, and it's overwhelming, you know? And I just want us to keep that awareness outside of the scope of just 1 week, you know? Just know that it's all okay, and whatever you're feeling and whatever comes up, and yeah, it's all okay. There's a lot in me right now that wants this to be some kind of succinct, like, poignant video with some, like, overarching meaning, and I think right now this is just my chance to process a little bit. 10 years, man. I've come a long way, and I'm proud. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of, like, my family and how far we've come, and I know my dad's proud. And I'm going to keep processing, and I'm going to keep talking about it, and I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I think that's all we can do, you know?